Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's January 26, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And Matt's like a pig in slop this morning. We found a recruit yesterday who considers himself to be a world-class angler and loves to go fishing, loves all kinds of fishing. Has never slayed stone crabs like Matt, but certainly can give Matt a run for his money out on the high seas or Biscayne Bay if he decides to come to Miami. So the kid's name is Jurion Dickey. He's a 2023 wide receiver from California, really good prospect. And so when we did the story on him, he's telling Matt all these fishing stories and about his hijinks out on the seas and all the different types of fish that he likes to go catch and that sort of thing. And Matt told him that if he comes to Miami, he will take him fishing every single week. He will take him stone crabbing. He will be his BFFL if he would just sign with the Miami Hurricanes a year from now. And how'd the bonding session go, Matt?
It was great. I don't break NCAA rules. I'm pretty sure I can't do that. But I mean, here's some pictures that we traded. Oh my God, I hate how this. Let me turn this light off. So I sent him that one of a pile of stone crabs. Sent him that one of a tarpon. Oh, a tarpon. Oh my gosh, this is awful.
Yeah, it's not showing up so great, but we get the idea.
Anyway, and he sent me a picture of the shark he caught. Oh, there you go. You can see that.
Yeah, we can see that pretty good.
There's the tarpon. Oh, the tarpon. I guess it's too light. That's another nice one. Anyway,
we don't want to see. We don't want to see you. We want to see him.
we traded some pictures. So yeah, I mean he's a big fisherman out in California. We were talking about what bait he uses. He'd never heard of stone crabs before. He actually goes for Dungeness crab, and I think he said it's called rock crab out there, where he says they eat anything. You can drop a hook in the water and just basically grab them off the shore, essentially off of a pier or whatever. So I explained to him how we do stone crabbing down here. I said, you put the pot out, you put in pig's feet. They're attracted to the smell of decaying flesh. We go back a week or two later. He said, a week or two later? He said, I'm not interested in that. That's too long, he says.
He wants instant gratification.
Yeah. So he's not going to be a stone crab fisherman with me. But we can go fishing, I guess, for regular
just remember, man, we could do NIL deals now. So, we could sign him up to be our fishing expert and go fishing.
That'd be great. He's perfect for me because he says he catches sturgeon all the time, apparently. I don't know. I didn't realize sturgeon were in the area he lives in, California. But he says they run through there, and he says he catches them. And I said, aren't sturgeon known for caviar? Which everyone knows sturgeon has caviar. and he says, yeah. He says, but I don't like the eggs. He said, I throw those back. I don't want to mess with that. So it's perfect. If it's legal, I'll have the caviar. He could have the fish. It's like a marriage made in heaven.
Do you think John Ruiz? Oh shoot. God, I was not supposed to mention that name. God darn it. I got to put the banner up so I remember what I'm not supposed to talk about. All right, listen. Do you think that guy that's been doing NIL deals maybe would do an NIL deal with Jurion Dickey and let him fish off one of those cigarette racing boats? Can you imagine how cool that would be?
I don't think you know how fishing works if you think you can fish off a cigarette racing boat.
Because it makes too much noise.
No, it's nothing with the noise. It's not a fishing boat.
No, I know it's not a fishing boat, but if you're out in the water, you can.
No one's fishing off a cigarette boat. Have you seen a cigarette boat? You barely have a cockpit in there.
Yeah, I know. No. It's crazy, but I'm just thinking, like, you could do it, but like, do you think the cigarette boats would scare the fish
away? You'll be better off fishing off a kayak or a rowboat than off a cigarette boat. It's not happening.
Because can the fish hear the noise from the engine? Do they have ears?
Well, you're not going to be trolling for these fish. You're going to, just be in the current. You're not going to be running the boat while you fish.
But wait
in the bay.
Theoretically,
if you go in the ocean, you could try to troll, but you're not going to troll off of a cigarette boat.
But a cigarette boat can go slow too, right? You could troll with a cigarette boat, can't you?
I don't. Hypothetically, you could try, but it
Well,
would mess up the boat.
I'm just envisioning this whole thing coming together. You know, NIL deal, cigarette racing team.
No.
Jerry and Dickie fishing off the cigarette. You have to get it to troll, but it makes a lot of noise, I would think. And again, I'm asking you, can fish hear? Do they have ears?
Yeah, you're not supposed to make a lot of noise around fish. Yeah, that's true.
They have ears.
I've never seen ears on a fish.
Let me find out. Wait a minute.
They certainly can be skittish if they make noise, and if there's strange things going on, especially the propellers whirling around them, it's just not a great thing.
Siri, do fish have ears?
The funniest thing the kid told me was just, first of all, I didn't start off saying I was a fisherman. He started talking about fish and fish and fish. All I did was mention to him, I heard you got an offer from Miami. Are you going to seriously consider Miami? And he started just talking about the fishing right away. I didn't even say I liked fishing or anything. He just starts talking about it. Just like halfway through the conversation before I started mentioning, oh yeah, I do some fishing too and crabbing and da. And then we talked.
Siri's not working.
A while longer. Shocker. Siri, even Siri ignores you, Gary.
And I don't have Alexa in the studio, so.
But so the funny thing was, he said and I made him repeat it because I didn't really understand what he was saying to me. He said when he was in grammar school and in middle school, he researched properties in Miami that he could buy, which I didn't understand what he was talking about, but he has some plan in place to have a second house on the water in Miami. I said, they're pretty expensive, right? He said, oh yeah, I know. So I guess he'll make his millions on the NIL deals with whoever the person is that you refuse to say his name now, or in the NFL, he'll have his house in Miami. Hopefully he invites me to come fishing with him, and we'll go from there. But it's pretty funny. I've never had a kid say to me that he really won't consider a landlocked program because he can't go fishing.
He's got to be able to go fishing. Well,
every minute he gets, he goes fishing. Every minute
when they got to figure out, like, he's got to go down to the Keys when he visits, or I don't know.
I'm going to go to Isla Mirada.
Yeah. Did he say when he's going to visit Miami for the first time?
He has no visit plan, but he will be. He says I will be visiting.
Yeah, he's got to go down to Isla Mirada. He's got to fish in the Keys. He's got to call his buddy Matt up and go. It'll be out of stone crab season.
Listen, if he comes on an official visit here, he's going to just wind up here. There's no way. How can you not? Once he goes fishing here,
fishing capital of the United States.
He's fishing in bays off of piers and shorelines there. Here, it's just so much more opportunity to get a vast myriad of sea life.
And by the way, fish can hear. They detect vibrations. That's how they hear. In the water, somehow they detect vibrations, and that's what they hear. Okay, whatever. But so anyway, so before we move on, the way this happened was I see this kid has been offered by Miami, and I'm looking and in his tweet he says Florida fishing baby. And then he tags Zach Coach Field, who's recruiting out in California right now, and I assume offered Jerry and Dickie on Tuesday, and that's how all this developed, because he was announcing he had just received an offer from the University of Miami. In fact, I can even let me show everybody this tweet just so they see what I'm talking about. So he says, I just received an offer from University of Miami, Florida fishing, baby, and my eyes lit up. I thought my immediate thought was Matt, and I called Matt on the phone. I said, Matt, you got to call this Jerry and Dickie kid. He's a fisherman. You guys will bond. You guys will become BFFs. He'll be your favorite recruit. You got to give him a call. So Matt called him up. They talked fishing for a while. You just heard the story. And that's how that story developed this morning.
By the way, Gary, listen, I know you're an expert on fish hearing and all auditory aspects of the fish, but how do you think human beings hear, by the way? Human beings also hear from vibrations, right? If the sound vibrates off of your
I don't feel something. Like I hear you. That's right how you
now. Hear also.
There's nothing vibrating in my ears.
Like I know you haven't caught a fish that has ears on it, but I'm just telling you, we hear through vibrations.
There's no vibrations going on. I'm listening to you right now. My ears are not moving.
Okay. See, this is the difference between factual information and you telling me that every recruit in America is going to sign with the University of Miami in February, which I would love if that happens. I'm just a little more skeptical than than the happy-go-lucky Gary.
Okay, another day has gone by. Okay, we've spoken to Inez Cooper.
Yeah. Well, no. I didn't speak to him. Listen.
But
I don't want to get
the people around Inez Cooper.
Now,
don't you feel better about him coming to Miami after speaking to people around them? Like I told you a day ago, that I think this kid's going to. Don't you feel a little bit more positive about it today?
You're getting so excited you started freezing up. I think you're having some sort of. I guess your internet is sensing the vibrations.
I'm fine. I'm working fine. Everything's
vibrations from your enthusiasm. Your sound waves are vibrating off your internet router and causing you to freeze. So stop being so excited.
I hope not, because everything looks fine on this end. But don't you feel better having spoken to people around Inez Cooper yesterday about the prospects of him coming to Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all I've been telling you. I think the kid's coming to Miami.
Yeah, it's very possible all of them will come. None of these kids have said they're not coming. But we've done this long enough, Gary, that we always are very.
They won't get them all.
I don't want to listen. This is my whole philosophy. Okay, for the fans out there who want to beat me up or whatever, this is my actual philosophy. When I go to see a movie, I don't want someone to tell me how great the movie is before I go to see it, because then, unless it's really, really great, it'll just meet my expectations at that point. If it's average, I'm going to be disappointed. I'd rather
but you can't be a hater either. Like on our message boards at CaneSport.com, people are starting to line us up in opposite camps. Like, Gary's the one that thinks, oh, Mario can't do any wrong and everything's great or whatever. And you're the voice of reason that says things aren't as great as they seem. So the people that want to hate on Mario, they love you. And but listen, if they get these kids, you're going to get rid of all those Gator shirts. And I know you cut up one of them last week. And you are going to wear this Super Mario t-shirt for a week. You're not going to take it off if all these kids come to Miami. Because if they do, he truly is Super Mario.
When you watch this tape back, you can see how rudely you interrupted me. I'm going to pretend like you didn't even talk the last 2 minutes. I'm going to continue my thought. I would rather someone tells me that the movie's awful, and I know I'm already going to go see it because I have the ticket, so I go see it. And as long as it's not awful, I'm going to be happy because the movie was better than I thought it would be. So by setting my bar low, I will be happy all the time, Gary. You're the one who's going to be miserable. I'm the happy one.
I'm not going to be miserable because I think all those kids are coming to Miami.
It's science. It's pure mental science. Because if your expectation is this and you get better than what you expect, you're happy. If your expectation is this and you get lower than you expect, you're miserable. So I'm going to be happy. You're going to be miserable. It's just a matter of time because there will be one recruit at some point who doesn't come to Miami. I hate to say it, guys. There will be one recruit maybe who doesn't come in February. It's possible. If that happens, Gary will be miserable, and I'll be happy because we got all the other guys. So I got no problem being happy, Gary. I won't have to cry myself to sleep saying he who can't be named anymore as I fall asleep crying, and you'll have to deal with that problem, come February if there's one recruit who doesn't come. I don't know what else to tell you on that.
Well, I mentioned him a minute ago, and one recruit I do think is coming is Inez Cooper. And you'll see in the story that's on the website.
Do you think Kristen Miller's coming? Yes. Do you think Jack Clyburn's coming? Yes. After you run the whole list of every kid who's left, you think they're all coming, which is great. I love that. I hope they all come. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised.
Haven't you seen the Jack Clyburn?
You call me a hater. It's more setting up expectations.
I'm reading the tea leaves. Haven't you seen all the social media on Jack Clyburn the last few days? Doesn't that look to you like a kid that's feeling Miami?
Didn't I just tell you yesterday how to read these tea leaves? I don't want kids saying how great Miami is and setting us up for failure. No kid is telling the world where they're going before they have their big announcement. That's just not how these kids do it nowadays. You don't want to be the school everyone thinks you're going to on signing day. These kids love to mess around with people. It's not right, but that's what they like to do. They don't want everyone saying he's going here. We know where he's going. What's the point? And then he signs there. That's not what these kids are about anymore. They want their day in the sun before they're essentially owned by the college system, although now they get paid to be owned by the college system. So I'd prefer they don't say how great Miami is. That makes me feel better. I told you that yesterday. You're reading the tea leaves backwards. You have the wrong expectations. You're reading the tea leaves backwards. It's a disaster. Get out of Ruiz's basement. Go into the sunlight. See the real world for a change.
You're not supposed to talk about.
I didn't say his first name. You said I couldn't say his first name and last name. I didn't say his first name.
Ruiz's basement.
No, you said I can't say. You said I can't say the full first name and last name. I didn't. I just said the last name. You didn't say I can't say his last name.
We agreed that John Ruiz was overexposed on this show.
Listen, If you said don't say Superman and all I said was man instead of Superman, you wouldn't be yelling at me. So all I said was Ruiz. I didn't say the full thing. It doesn't count.
But we agreed that we would not talk about John Ruiz for a couple days. We agreed.
You said not to. I never agreed, but okay, whatever.
No, you agreed.
I went like this. I guess that means I agreed. In Gary's alternate universe where every recruit comes to Miami and we win a national championship this year, I agreed. Don't get me wrong. I would be the happiest person in the world if every recruit comes here and we win a championship. Like I've told you guys a million times, nobody would be happier to cover a winning team than me. I've been miserable for 20 years. I started in 2001.
When everybody was saying that Mario Cristobal,
it's like the Stockholm syndrome. I've been conditioned to expect failure over the last 20 years. It's like you're living as a prisoner to a program that's not been good.
When everybody was saying that Mario Cristobal wasn't coming here, why would he leave Oregon? He's got everything going there. Everything's great. Phil Knight, blah, 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 blah. Who said he was coming to Miami?
Who said he was coming to Miami? John Ruiz.
Yeah, he might have. He might have also. But I said he was coming to Miami, and I was right.
Yes, I mean, you're right, Gary. Listen, the truth is, for all you watching out there, Gary's the president of the University of Miami. Julio, have you guys ever seen Julio Frank in a public appearance? There's a reason. Have you ever seen Julio Frank and Gary Ferman in the same room together? They're the same person. Okay? They are the same person.
Look, somebody had to get this thing straightened out. And now it's straightened out. Now we get to sit back and just watch the show. And it's been quite a show lately. So, listen, I want to talk a little bit more about Anis Cooper. We just said his name. Remember this name, folks, because...
Please say his first name correctly. It's not Anus, okay?
I didn't say Anus. I said Anez.
You did. Replay it. You did.
I said Anez Cooper.
Anez.
Well, I didn't know that. Okay, Anez Cooper. I want to talk about this kid for a minute because I really like him. And I've watched a lot of tape on him in the last day since he came on the radar for Miami. And this is a kid that's going to get his first look, if he comes to Miami, probably a defensive tackle, because they need defensive tackles right now. Let's be honest. They are looking for defensive tackles for kids that can play defensive tackle next year. Okay. And this kid is huge. Okay. And, but when I look at him and I watch him on tape, I'm like, man, this kid can be a hell of an offensive lineman too. So like, he's one of these defensive linemen that could play either way, offense or defense. And I think he's going to be a heck of a player. I mean, I don't know. He's only a 3-star in the Rivals rankings. I don't have an explanation for that.
I do. But it's because
what is that? What's your explanation?
He was over 400 pounds in May. He lost 50 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's big.
From May to the middle of the season. So
he's a big boy.
That's why he didn't look real good until he got down in weight. He's at 4 or 5. He might have, listen, if he had another year of eligibility, he'd be a 5-star. I mean, he's going to be really, really good.
How athletic. Let me show everybody how athletic this kid is. I mean,
that really shows his athleticism, but he's athletic.
Yeah. You can see how big he is.
The coach told me that was a 30-second take. He dropped the first 31 passes, but the 32nd one, it was pretty good. So I posted that one.
I wouldn't be surprised, but it looks good. That looks good. But anyway,
the coach said he does that the coach said he runs those routes all the time after practice for fun. And yeah, I told the coach, I said, I think he just wants to be a receiver. All offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they just want to catch the ball or get an interception and run it back for a touchdown. That's all these guys dream about, you know?
But I mean, I love this kid. I really, really like him. And I think he could play on either side of the ball. I mean, if you put that kid at guard, I think he could be elite. And maybe he'll be elite as a nose tackle or defensive tackle. We'll see how all this goes. First, you got to get him to Miami. He's very, very, very interested in Auburn as well. So this is going to be an Auburn-Miami battle right down to the end. We've got the full story on the website this morning. I encourage everybody to take a look at that. All right, moving on to other things here. 5-star Josh Conley is coming in this weekend as well. Big visit weekend taking shape for the Hurricanes. And he previews his Miami visit this weekend. Take a look at that. We also got a story with 4-star Ruben Bain from Miami Central, the defensive end, that it's going to take a lot for him to not be a Miami Hurricane next year. He talks about how he's feeling a different vibe when he comes to campus these days. So you guys could check out that story. We got another one on another California kid. Steve Field has been out on the West Coast working California. So we're seeing a lot of activity out there, a lot of kids getting offers lately. And one of them is 4-star California quarterback Nico Iamaleava. I hope I said Iamaleava. Iamaleava. Man, you're good with these names. I suck. Anyway, he's a 2023 4-star quarterback. He was here for Elite Prospect Day. And the thing that has him most interested in Miami, Matt, which I think is a good thing, is, but I'm not going to get under your skin and predict at this point he's coming to Miami. We've got a long way to go. But he likes the idea of playing with the type of talent level that he thinks can be surrounded, could be surrounding him at Miami. So remember, Iamaleava. Remember that name if you can pronounce it better than me, because he could emerge in the Miami picture as things go forward. Right now, there's no offensive coordinator, there's no quarterbacks coach, but once there is, and they start evaluating the quarterbacks that are going to be recruited, I mean, Iamaleava could end up factoring into the Miami picture.
Yeah, it's either Iamaleava or Iamaleava. It's one or the other. But this was kudos to Matthew Suero, by the way, who does some recruiting coverage for us and does a great job with it. He interviewed him while he was in the area here. And the thing that really struck me about the interview that Matthew did was basically this kid saw Brandon Inniss play, and he's like, I want to play with Brandon Inniss, and he started talking to Brandon Inniss, and hey, Brandon, where are you thinking about going to college? This is why I keep saying Brandon Inniss is the key to everything. The key to everything. Brandon Inniss, people are drawn to him. People want to play with him.
And then
people
they start looking around Brandon Inniss, and they see, Hakeem Williams, his teammate, and
right. But this is a kid from California.
Brown. They start to see all the talent down here. It's amazing next year.
Yeah, who doesn't want to play with Brandon Inniss if you're on offense, right? He makes a quarterback look better. He's a great teammate. He'll make a running back better. Just because the more weapons you have, you spread out the field, you make big plays. The offense produces more points. Got to get Brandon Inniss. If Brandon Inniss does not come in this class in 2023, I've already set the bar where we're getting him. So you can't not get him, Mario Cristobal, because then I'll be disappointed. And it's very hard to disappoint me because I set a very low bar.
So you think Brandon Inniss is going to Miami?
I do. I know it's so early and he's going to take all these visits, and he committed somewhere else already once. But that was before Mario Cristobal was here. Obviously, a lot's going to hinge on the offensive coordinator and the offensive system. I'd be surprised if they still run a hurry-up spread offense. I think they could still run a spread offense. Of course, it'll be similar. But I think something that they found and that Manny Diaz regrets, that hurry-up offense didn't do Miami's defense any favors. The defense really had issues the last, 2 years? Yeah, ever since they got Rhett last year, those last 2 years, the defense was really bad. And unless you have a really good defense and really deep rotation, it's very difficult to run a hurry-up offense simply because you're putting so much pressure on your own defense, and you're just basically trying to outscore other teams. And if your offense struggles in a game, you're going to lose that game. So I think Mario, being the offensive guy he is, and understanding the game of football the way he does, and understanding that defense is not a strength for Miami right now, and it's probably not going to be a strength this coming season, I think he understands a hurry-up offense may not be the best choice for this team. I hope that whatever coordinator he brings in recognizes that too, because I think that was a real disservice to a very sub-average defense this past season.
All right. So you like Miami's chances?
I do. I've talked to Brandon Inniss numerous times. I know he likes Miami. I think he's Miami's to lose. I don't think Mario's going to lose it. Like in the past, Miami coaches have lost these top kids, right? The kids wanted to stay home. It was almost give me a reason not to stay, and then Miami would give the kid a reason not to stay. I don't think Mario will do that anymore. So I think the kid does want to be here if it's the right situation. I think it will be the right situation. It's got to be a good season. It's got to be a good coordinator. It's got to be the right fit. But he already likes Brian McClendon. That's step one. He's already friendly with some of the kids on the team. That's step two. He's already been on campus. So step three is accomplished. Now it's just get the coordinator and get the system going, win some games, have a good offense, and he'll come, and then everyone else comes with him, and we win championships, Gary.
All right, I agree with you totally, but I want to know, why is it okay for you to be bullish about kids and not okay for me to be bullish?
Because I base my perceptions and opinions on reality. This is me talking to him numerous times, knowing people around him. I'm good friends with one of his travel coaches. This is just based on me knowing information. If the information I have on other kids, for instance,
you told me you
told me Inez Cooper was coming to Miami, or you thought he had a really good chance. I said, I don't think so, because what I was basing it on was stuff I was hearing from other websites, not from the people around the kid himself. I talked to a couple people around the kid now, and I do think there's a decent chance just talking to them. So I upgraded my opinion to agree with you. But when people at Miami, for instance, even if they're allowed to comment, which I know Mario doesn't like anyone having leaks, but if someone at Miami comes to us and says, hey, I think we're getting this kid, you know how many times it's happened in the past 20 years and they don't get that kid? Even the weekend before signing day, hey, he's coming. He told us he's coming, and he doesn't come. So I've learned, just because a kid tells a school he's coming doesn't mean he's coming. These are teenagers. A lot of times they're scared to say no to somebody. I always go back to that story with Martellus Bennett and Mario Cristobal way back when, where Martellus, even after he decommitted from Miami and it was out there because we reported it, he was scared to tell Cristobal that he had decommitted. And when Mario called the kid and said, did you really decommit? The kid said, I didn't decommit, coach. I'm still committed. So it's just a small microcosm of a much bigger picture that's happened year after year after year, not just at Miami, but everywhere. There's kids that commit to multiple schools every year. You can call them silent commitments, whatever you want, but you can't, just because a coach thinks a kid's coming, sometimes the kid's scared to tell the truth. And sometimes, believe it or not, as weird as it sounds, sometimes us on the outside as reporters can find out more talking to people around the kid than the coaches know, because the coaches are just hearing from the family and the kids, and they maybe don't want to hear so much from the other people in the program. Maybe a kid's assistant coach or whoever we have contacts with, the kid's 7-on-7 coach or whatever, the word on the street in the kid's town. I don't know how to put it for a specific kid. That's just that's how I roll. So that's why, if I don't know, I'll tell you guys I don't know. So.
All right. On another note, today the Hurricane basketball team's got a huge game tonight at Virginia Tech, a team that has had some struggles so far this season, but is probably better than what people think. And I think that's going to be a tough out for the Canes tonight, but very important.
It'll be very disappointing if they lose this game. This is not.
Yeah, you got Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. They're on the road, but it's a great opportunity to get a couple wins and maybe hope that Florida State drops one this week, and then you can get back in sole possession of first place in the ACC. So those of you that can watch tonight, watch the Canes basketball team. All right, so that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. No coordinator yet. Mario's on the recruiting grind, probably doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of time to do interviews right now, so we'll see what happens there. Keeping our eyes on that. And also still expecting an offensive line commitment any moment now. Matt, how do you pronounce that name?
Well, yeah, I don't want to ruin the kids. Whatever. It's
all right. We won't say anything. Yeah, we're going to wait till he announces. But we are expecting a transfer to commit to the Hurricanes on the offensive line at any moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So before I get myself in trouble here,
too late for that. You've been in trouble the whole year. I've been in trouble the whole year. You've been in trouble the whole year. This show was the worst idea ever, because all it does is let fans say how annoying we are and how we fight with each other and argue with each other all the time.
I know, it's crazy.
Because they know us too well. They know we're annoying people now. This was the worst idea ever doing this Good Morning show.
I know.
We can't talk about subjects. We talk over each other. We argue. We're morons. I mean, well, good news for us is nobody's still watching right now. What are 28 minutes in? There's nobody still watching. That's the good news. We can say whatever we want. It doesn't even matter at this point. Everyone's coming. All you people, all three of you still watching, Mom, Dad, and my brother, everyone's coming to Miami. All the recruits that are visiting are going to be Hurricanes. Let's go. Yeah.
For that guy, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us today on Good Morning CaneSport. Have a great day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow.